What it do, Trillfoot Blonde Q. So, something I've been looking to do with this channel, and I'm starting today, is reading and doing daily reaction videos or consistent reaction videos with a book that has changed my life, the Bhagavad Gita, as it is. This book is incredible. I read it in full 2 years ago, and as a lot of my friends know, man, Krishna's that dude. And so in lieu of spreading the love frequency and being on 528 hertz, I thought it'd be great to really transcribe all the rereading of this, because as with anything, I feel any great spiritual text, as you read them, the meaning enhances, and as it sits in your consciousness, as it sits in consciousness, and it unfolds, you gain deeper meaning, further insight into things that maybe you didn't see or didn't have the consciousness to understand fully at the time. Or that I didn't have at the time. So, I'm actually going to be starting from the very beginning so that everybody can know what the book is about. And I was tempted to start, where I last left off. However, I know most people haven't read the book, so I'm going to start from the very beginning, setting the scene. Bow. Although widely published and read by itself, the Bhagavad Gita, and I know I'm not saying that correctly, so bear with me. The Bhagavad Gita originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning of this age, some 50 centuries ago, that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend and devotee Arjuna. Their discourse, one of the greatest philosophical and religious dialogues known to man, took place just before the onset of war, a great fratricidal conflict between the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra and, on the opposing side, their cousins, the Pandavas, or sons of Pandu. Dhritarashtra and Pandu were brothers born in the Kuru dynasty, descending from King Bharata, a former ruler of the earth, for whom the name Mahabharata derives. Because Dhritarashtra, the elder brother, was born blind, the throne that otherwise would have been his was passed down to the younger brother Pandu. When Pandu died at an early age, his 5 children, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva, came under the care of Dhritarashtra, who in effect became, for the time being, the king. This Dhritarashtra, that's what I'm going to call him, is the king now. Thus the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu grew up in the same royal household. Both were trained in the military arts by the expert Drona and counseled by the revered grandfather of the clan, Bhisma. Yet the sons of Dhritarashtra, especially the eldest, Duryodhana, the eldest, Duryodhana, hated and envied the Pandavas, and the blind and weak-minded Dhritarashtra wanted his own sons, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom. So the Pandavas were the ones to inherit. Thus, Duryodhana, with Dhritarashtra's consent, plotted to kill the young sons of Pandu, 5 of them, and it was only by the careful protection of their uncle Vidura and their cousin, Lord Krishna, that the Pandavas escaped the many attempts against their lives. Now, Lord Krishna was not an ordinary man, but the supreme Godhead himself, who had descended to Earth and was playing the role of a prince in a contemporary dynasty. In this role, he was also the nephew of Pandu's wife, Kunti, or Pertha, the mother of the Pandavas. So, both as a relative and as the eternal upholder of religion, Krishna favored the righteous sons of Pandu and protected them. Ultimately, however, the clever Duryodhana challenged the Pandavas to a gambling match. In the course of that fateful tournament, Duryodhana and his brothers took possession of Draupadi, the chaste and devoted wife of the Pandavas, and insultingly tried to strip her naked before the entire assembly of princes and kings. Krishna's divine intervention saved her, but the gambling, which was rigged, cheated the Pandavas of their kingdom and forced them into 13 years of exile. Upon returning from exile, the Pandavas rightfully requested their kingdom from Duryodhana, who bluntly refused to yield it. Duty-bound as princes to serve in public administration, the 5 Pandavas reduced their request to a mere 5 villages, but Duryodhana arrogantly replied that he wouldn't spare them enough land into which to drive a pin. Throughout all of this, the Pandavas had been consistently tolerant and forbearing, but now war seemed inevitable. Nonetheless, as the princes of the world divided, some siding with the sons of Dhritarashtra, others with the Pandavas, Krishna himself took the role of messenger for the sons of Pandu and went to the court of Dhritarashtra to plead for peace. When his pleas were refused, war was now certain. The Pandavas, men of the highest moral stature, recognized Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead. The Pandavas, men of the highest moral stature, recognized Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, whereas the impious sons of Dhritarashtra, this word, you can see it. Let me see this. That, right there. That's the word, Dhritarashtra. This one called Dhritarashtra. When they went to the court, the impious sons of Dhritarashtra did not see Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Yet Krishna offered to enter the war according to the desire of the antagonist. As God, he would not personally fight, but whoever so desired might avail himself of Krishna's army, and the other side could have Krishna himself as an advisor and helper. So whoever desired to fight might avail himself of Krishna's army, and the other side, Krishna's army, would have Krishna himself as an advisor and helper. Duryodhana, the political genius, snatched at Krishna's armed forces, while the Pandavas were equally eager to have Krishna himself. In this way, Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna, taking it upon himself to drive the fabled bowman's chariot. This brings us to the point at which Bhagavad Gita begins, with the 2 armies arrayed, ready for combat, and Dhritarashtra anxiously inquiring of his secretary, Sanjaya, what did they do? What did they do? The scene is set, with only the need for a brief note regarding this translation and commentary. The general pattern translators have followed in rendering Bhagavad Gita into English has been to brush aside the person Krishna to make room for their own concepts and philosophies. Typical translators. The history of the Mahabharata is taken as quaint mythology, and Krishna becomes a poetic device for presenting the ideas of some anonymous genius, or at best he becomes a minor historical personage. But the person Krishna is both the goal and the substance of Bhagavad Gita, so far as the Gita speaks of itself. This translation, then, and the commentary that accompanies it, propose to direct the reader to Krishna rather than away from him. The Bhagavad Gita thus becomes wholly consistent and comprehensible. Since Krishna is the speaker of the Gita, and its ultimate goal as well, Bhagavad Gita as it is presents this great scripture in its true terms. That's a note from the publishers. So, that's the story, so far as setting the scene. Tune in tomorrow, where we get into the preface, where the author of this, Swami, how do you say his name? Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This guy, right down here, this gentleman. Go over his preface tomorrow, and it goes more in depth of what this purpose of this amazing book is and how we can integrate it into our lives. So with that, yeah, my reaction to that, man, too, I mean, it's incredible. And instead of, who knows what happened back then, and it could be historical, could be not, and that's really not the point. I see it as so far back. I mean, I honestly, I know through reading this, I know what I know about it, and I know what it's meant in my life, and so I feel it's irrelevant to get into the historical aspect of it and see it more as a direct lineage of, yeah, I take it as truth. I take it as, because I've seen the effects it has in my life, and I'm super excited to get further into this again and really read through it again with a new consciousness. I'd say the coolest aspect of this is that the idea that there's this huge battle about to take place, and it brings in the ideology or the concept of war and how God relates to that, and it's really exciting to get into, the true nature of our reality and the purpose of all of this here. So with that, I'm going to sign off. I love you guys. Blessings in abundance, many blessings, and have a great night.